So we're pretty proud of ourselves. We successfully grew bananas in Saskatchewan, Canada, which is right in the middle of Canada, gardening zone 3. So we're getting ready to harvest these and are harvesting them right now in increments. Our other variety just started fruiting in the lowest light December month. And just in case you think I'm lying, I don't want any naysayers out there. We're going to go outside. Okay. It warmed up a bit. It's only minus 22 degrees Celsius outside today. It was minus 50 last week. Let me show you how I do the things that I do.
Drink of rum, daylight come and me want go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me want go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me want go home.
So we are pretty proud of ourselves. We have some ready to harvest, and our other variety is just started fruiting in the middle of December. So this guy started, we noticed the flower end of June 2023, and it's been almost 7 months now. Now they're nice and plump and kind of ready to harvest. I did a test. I took 2 bananas off of the bottom, and it took a week on our countertop to be perfectly ripe and ready to eat fresh. Now I am cutting off a few bunches on the top where the biggest bananas are. So I have ongoing bananas until they're too ripe hanging there and I have to harvest them all. I initially thought I was going to have to harvest them all at the same time. And you kind of do. If I left this too long, the odd banana here and there, I guess, will start to go ripe. And you harvest them kind of all at once, but then you have to do something with them all at once. So by doing it, harvesting in increments, which I didn't even know I was able to do, we have bananas on an ongoing basis. So this, again, started in June, almost 7 months later, ready to harvest. And this one is a Cavendish variety. In our lowest light in beginning of December, this flower appeared and it started fruiting. Wow. So we have no additional light or anything. It's all passive solar heat and light. So in that low light conditions, but in my design, this banana gets hit by full sun in the wintertime and completely shaded in the summertime. So what's interesting is in 2 opposite time frames of the year, we had 2 bananas successfully fruiting. So first that flower shows up, and it slowly forms bananas, and the flower kind of what makes its way, it looks like drops down. And some people, I guess, leave the flower on the entire process. Other people will cut the banana flower off, and we opted for that advice to give some more of the energy towards the bananas. So how do you grow bananas in one of the coldest parts of the world? Gardening zone 3, the average temperature is plus 3 degrees Celsius annually. We have months on end that are minus 25, minus 30 degrees Celsius. And we just came out of a 1 week long polar vortex where temperatures got as low as minus 54 degrees Celsius, which is minus 64 degrees Fahrenheit. How do we do it? Well, 3 years ago, I took it upon myself. I had the idea in my head, and I'm a builder by trade, to build myself a passive solar greenhouse. So in combination with the proper design for our sun angles and super insulation and thermal mass, we, for very little money, operate this greenhouse year-round. Now, the big struggle is with tropical plants, keeping the greenhouse 10 degrees Celsius or warmer. So we have oranges, figs, passion fruit, avocado, guava, 2 types of bananas, grapefruit, lemons and limes, and some other tropical things like eucalyptus and things. Some of those go dormant if it gets cooler than minus 10. So it's a struggle at night, and we do use a little bit of energy at nighttime to keep it 10 degrees minimum. But when it was minus 50 Celsius outside, it got to plus 30 degrees Celsius inside just from the power of the sun. At 8 o'clock in the evening, it would either trigger our little natural gas furnace, or that's when I'd start putting firewood in the wood stove. Last winter, that had a carbon tax, a huge carbon tax on natural gas, between electricity to run a little water pump, 400 watts worth of fans to move air around and keep our plants from getting leggy, and the natural gas we used in our little furnace, total operating cost annually for this greenhouse was $1,000. Now it'll be less with out the carbon tax. Now that's if I don't use any firewood. I was super busy last year and I didn't burn any firewood. This year, no carbon tax, and I'm burning firewood in the wood stove. I have some extra time, so it's going to be less than that. Now we've got our first banana 3 years ago now, and it came in a little pot, and it was the size of one of these little pups, the smallest one you can see there. And that was $150 from a local greenhouse that imported them from Florida. This one was supposed to be a ice cream variety. It ended up being something else. Luckily, it's a delicious and edible banana variety, whatever it is. And the other guy that's fruiting is a dwarf Cavendish. That's kind of what you're used to at the grocery store. So both are fruiting and delicious varieties, but $150 a piece. And then it took us 3 years to get like a 12-inch diameter trunk on these big banana plants, and 3 years for them to fruit, both varieties. Now, what do I feed my bananas? Well, I put them in really, really good soil, and I give them lots and lots of water. They require a lot of water. And the only thing I've given them is fish waste when I do fish changeovers, nothing else. So dirty fish water, that gives all the nutrients to make this ridiculously healthy looking plant. So over the course of having bananas, I have taken a lot of pups off. So those are the little suckers, the little plants that come off. And we've potted some of them. I've given a couple away. And I have another big Cavendish over there that's a pup off of that first one. So that we expect to fruit fairly soon based on the results of these other ones. But these pups, I have to take, and I left it so long. Bananas are so easy to grow, and they grow super fast, and they're super healthy in here. But you have to leave the biggest pup that's going to end up being the mother for next year. So after I harvest all of the banana bunch off of this, I cut down the mother plant. I've already taken some of the leaves off. I also had to brace it up with the 2x4 because the bananas are so heavy. But I cut down the mother, and then the next biggest pup that I left becomes the mother for next year. So I'm hoping we'll see, this is the first time we've had bananas, but on an ongoing basis, have bananas fruiting every year off of one plant system. So the mother gets cut down and the next pup comes, and then I have the next year. So I'm talking 2 years in advance. I'm always thinking the next pup is the next healthiest and biggest looking one. And I guess you're supposed to find a pup with narrower leaves. Is one, somebody told me a little trick. That's the one you leave to fruit for next time. The ones with thicker leaves are maybe more of a water pup, I guess. And anyways, that's what I was told to do, and that's what I'm doing. So because the greenhouse would be totally overrun with bananas if I was to transplant pups and put them in, I could have a full banana orchard in here. But because we got figs and eucalyptus, and we just cleared a bunch of stuff out, we're going to start seeding in the middle of January for our next crop. This was full of cucumbers and tomatoes, so we harvest all that, picked it out. But we have a few varieties of oranges and things. All those are going to be massive trees that are going to, fill up the greenhouse even more than it is now and make a jungle in here. But I'm hoping, we got so many figs off of our first fig plant. That does really well. We've had oranges off of our oranges. When those get to be full-size trees, it's going to be ridiculous how many oranges we're going to get. I got the doors open and I'm still sweating in here. It's so hot with the sun. But yeah, so the next pup is already 14 feet to the ceiling, and the leaf could have gone probably another 6 feet. So that's a full-size banana there. And that's the pup for next year. So I cut down what's left of the mother when I harvest the rest of the bananas, and that's the mother for next year. And odds are it could fruit, I don't know, any time by the looks of it. Or maybe it'll be June, like 1 year later after the flower came on this one. Pests. Dean, what did you have for pests? Actually, bananas have been the easiest thing to grow in our greenhouse. All it takes is a lot of water and a lot of the fish waste when I do tank changeovers. The only pest we've had on these, or problem, is a little bug called a mealybug. They're a white-looking thing, and Yeah, what we would do is get an alcohol wipe and wipe off the leaves is where we saw them, and then I'd spray it off. Other than that, no fruit flies other than a little bit when the flower is forming, because bananas are sticky and sweet. The odd little fruit fly. There were so many figs that we couldn't pick them all, and a few dropped off, and that attracted the fruit flies, that sweet, sweet fruit. So we're pretty proud of ourselves with my design. And so in the winter time, it's getting blasted, all that heat of the sun's really low. But these bananas in the summertime, if you can see this transition, so I want black concrete in the winter and the sun doesn't hit black concrete in the summer. This is where the sun is. So it's reflective, but the banana are planted in back and they don't receive any direct sunlight whatsoever, but lots of natural light. And so successful, you can see the results of the healthy plant, but this one fruited in essentially no direct sunlight, and then this one fruited in full sunlight. So maybe in a thick banana orchard in the tropics or something, those bananas are so thick, each other plant kind of shades it. And I don't know, it's just working amazing. Whatever I'm doing, it's working amazing. So we have some more in pots over here, but this is a pup off of the dwarf Cavendish, the first and best looking pup. So we transplanted it and put it in the ground here, and it is flourishing. It has 2 massive pups of its own, plus I've taken more pups off of that. I just started feeding them to the pigs in the winter as a treat because there's too many banana plants. We got a red banana here that's not a fruiting variety, just ornamental, and some more in pots. But this one, judging by the time frame of the age of that plant and the healthiness of this guy, like it's constantly shooting up leaves all the time. But we probably will have fruit within the year off of this. It'll produce the flower and we'll have bananas off of this. And I have to really watch what I plant. We've got orange trees in here and things that are also going to get big. So it's going to be a bit of a jungle in here as the years go by. And it's really nice to not have these outside in a tropical jungle, to have them in my enclosed environment, because lots of people said they will have to harvest them unripe because the monkeys will beat them to it. Luckily, we don't have that problem here because my wife won't let me get a monkey. She's no fun. This was supposed to be that ice cream variety type. The bananas are supposed to turn blue, and I looked up some pictures what they're supposed to look like, and it didn't taste like ice cream. It tasted like a really fresh, delicious, tasty banana. But I would like to get a ice cream variety, so I'm going to look at that. It's called a Blue Java, and going to plant that somewhere maybe in between these 2 sets of bananas, because bananas are delicious. They're beautiful. They make you feel good in the wintertime. It's like being in the tropics, and we love eating bananas. Everything's good about them. I'm even excited I might be harvesting some of our tilapia that I have. They're eating size. And what I might do is cook the tilapia wrapped in a banana leaf with fresh herbs from over there in Saskatchewan -30. Now, if you don't believe me, like, that isn't real. That is not real, Dean. This just does not happen. Okay. There's the bananas. Well, the door was frozen. Wintertime. Anyways, thanks for watching. I think I covered everything you needed to know about growing bananas. Just like everything and all of my concepts, I bust my butt, spend a lot of time on infrastructure, and then once the infrastructure is in place, all of a sudden I have no ongoing costs and I can do all this amazing stuff. So I try to share how to build a structure like this and my design principles and things so you can do it yourself. And for us, it's worth it. The amount of food that this produces between mostly vegetables, but then all the tropical fruits that we're doing, it's pretty darn nice. And it's a pretty darn nice place to be in the middle of winter in Saskatchewan, Canada. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Day-o, day-o, daylight come and me want go home. Beautiful bunch of ripe bananas. Daylight come and me want go home. Hide the deadly black tarantula. Daylight come and me want go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me want go home. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come and me want go home.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.